race issue from the other side. This man, Chicago preacher Jeremiah Wright, is Barack Obama's pastor. He even married the senator and his wife. Well, Fox News has obtained portions of Reverend Wright's sermons that are anti-American, to say the least. Viewer warning, some offensive material coming up.
Barack knows what it means to be a black man living in a country and a culture that is controlled by rich white people. Hillary can never know that. Hillary ain't never been called a Hillary is married to Bill, and Bill have been good to us. No, he ain't. Bill did us just like he did Monica Lewinsky. He was riding dirty. The government gives them the drugs, builds bigger prisons, passes a 3-strike law, and then wants us to sing God Bless America? No, no, no. Not God Bless America. God damn America. That's in the Bible for killing innocent people. God damn America for treating us citizens as less than human. We bombed Hiroshima. We bombed Nagasaki. And we nuked far more than the thousands in New York and the Pentagon, and we never batted an eye. We have supported state terrorism against the Palestinians and black South Africans, and now we are indignant because the stuff we have done overseas is now brought right back into our own front yards.
In other words, the USA brought 9/11 on itself. Reverend Rice recently retired, and today Barack Obama's office issued this statement. Senator Obama profoundly disagrees with some of the statements and positions of Reverend Wright. Senator Obama deplores divisive statements, unquote. Now, there's no question that Reverend Wright is a problem for Senator Obama. How big a problem remains to be seen. Most Americans love their country and believe it is noble. That kind of extreme rhetoric, the kind that Wright traffics in, is only acceptable to the far left. So Senator Obama will have to deal with this. Just how will be very interesting. And that's a memo. Now for the top story tonight, 2 reports. Dick Morris will analyze shortly. But first, let's bring in Dr. Wendy Schiller, who teaches political science at Brown University. She's in Washington, as is Fox News analyst Juan Williams. All right, Juan, I'm just going to let you go. I think it's a problem for Senator Obama. Am I wrong?
No, it's a big problem, and it's the big problem because Obama has come across the American people very successfully as someone who is able to cross over the racial divide and speak of racial healing and optimism in this country. He really has become the personification of a better view on race relations, and he is very close to Reverend Jeremiah Wright. If you'll recall, Bill, when he was debating with Hillary Clinton, he said, you know, when it comes to Farrakhan, he renounced, he rejects, whatever, because he's not close to Farrakhan. They may live in the same city, but that's about it. But when it comes to Jeremiah Wright, you've got him right there in the pulpit, in the pews, listening, supporting Jeremiah Wright. The title of his book, Audacity of Hope, comes from a sermon by Reverend Jeremiah Wright. He knows of this hateful rhetoric that you just saw. He knows of the divisive, explosive, race-baiting language that Jeremiah Wright uses. But, you know, the fact is that Barack Obama wanted Jeremiah Wright to justify himself, to make himself authentically black when he moved into Chicago. Now that he's in a different life and trying to be the national Barack Obama candidate, presidential candidate, he's turning away from Jeremiah Wright. He didn't want him when he was announcing for president in Springfield, Illinois. Now he's, you know, saying, you know what, he's like the crazy uncle in the corner. But he's not the crazy uncle. He knows him.
As late as December, just a couple of months ago, Reverend Wright was on Barack Obama's African American Committee. So, Dr. Schiller, what I'm asking you is the same thing I pretty much asked Juan. How big a problem is this going to be for Senator Obama, and what would you advise him to do?
Well, I think it's a problem on 2 levels. The first problem is that he's running a campaign on judgment. This is what he wants to tell the American people. He doesn't have as much experience as the other 2 big candidates, McCain and Clinton, but he has judgment. The question here is, what is his judgment on Jeremiah Wright, on his reverend? I mean, he's been his pastor, he's been in the church. You know, has he listened to any of these sermons? Has he been in the room when he's been giving this kind of sermon with this kind of language? He's got to show the American people that he has the judgment about who he associates with, and that's fair game for the American people to ask about. We want to know who will be your associates when you become president, if you become president. So the question is, who will be advising you? What views do you share? What views do you reject? And this is a very big problem for him because it's the basis of his other level of his campaign. Come together, trust me, I have judgment, but the people I associate with, at least lately,
all right. Now I'm going to point both of you. I'm going to point both of you to be Barack Obama's senior advisor this evening. Now, you saw what the campaign did. They issued the statement that they've issued before. He doesn't agree. He's a friend, doesn't agree, deplores. But now, as the doctor pointed out, I thought it was a very good observation. It's about judgment. It's about judgment. That Obama's saying that his judgment on the Iraq War and other things is better, but when you have a close relationship with a man who hates America, as Reverend Wright does, how do you explain that? So you're his advisor, Juan. I'm going to give you 60 seconds, and I'm going to give the doctor 60 seconds. What do you tell him to do?
Well, it's a tough one because he can't turn away from Jeremiah Wright in such a way as to alienate African Americans who say, you know what, Jeremiah Wright is speaking of some of the pain of being black in America. But what he's got to do is separate it out and say Jeremiah Wright is from a past, and he's from a hateful past, and it's not about who I am now. And yes, I was in the pew, and yes, I've supported this church, and I've been in that pulpit. But right now I'm telling you, Jeremiah Wright is wrong. And he's not some crazy uncle, not try to pretend, oh, I don't know this guy, or this guy's weird. But say, you know what, for the longest time, I was under the influence of this guy, but I have grown past it, and it's wrong, and I'm here to tell you it's wrong. And you can tell by the way that I talk tonight.
All right, so you want
to be the president of all America.
You're telling him to be proactive, to go out there and confront the situation. What are you going to tell him?
Yeah, and you know what you're going to see, Bill? A real question: does the American press hold him to the same standard they would hold Hillary Clinton to for Gerald?
They're not. I can tell you right away.
Comments.
This story broke today, and the American press, pretty much the left-wing press, ignored it. So I can tell you that. Now tomorrow they'll have to cover it.
That would be wrong. That would be hypocrisy.
Well, that's what's going to happen. Tomorrow they'll have to cover it. All right, doctor, you're the advisor. You got 40 seconds to tell Barack Obama what to do. You tell him what?
Change the subject. What Obama has to do is give people something else to talk about.
Oh, come on, doctor. You can't change the subject on that.
Yes, you can, and here's how you do it. Here's how you change the subject. You stop apologizing for things like Resco and Jeremiah Wright. I mean, the reason that he gets stuck, that this stuff sticks to Obama, nothing has stuck to him so far, is because there's nothing else to talk about Obama. Let's get the campaign message back on track.
Well, I don't think
this is a problem that plagues,
I don't think it's going to be enough. Not that.
Change the subject. If he doesn't want to be the black president, then just show America why he wants to be president and change the subject.
I think Juan had the best advice. He's got to be proactive, he's got to go out, he's got to define it, and he's got to be aggressive in doing it. Dr. Juan, thanks very much. Next on the Rundown, Dick Morris on what Obama should do about the preacher problem.